Hey there everyone, 880 here with a Protoss vs Zerg here on Metalopolis. Spawning first at the 2 o'clock is one of my favorite players. He is the Red Protoss, LiquidHuK. Huck is a Canadian-American pro gamer whose real name is Chris LaRanger. He won DreamHack Summer 2011, taking down those finals 3-2 over Moon and winning a hefty 16,000 prize as well with that, so very nicely done there. He is currently in Korea for Code S and the such, of course, and he is ranked second in his division of the Korean Masters League with a 54% win rate. His opponent for this game will be the Blue Zerg down here at the 8 o'clock. His name is NosLoki. Loki is ranked 127th in the Korean Grandmaster League with a 51% win rate. So we'll see these two players duke it out here on Metalopolis from cross positions, as Huck here is in the top right and Loki down here in the bottom left. So while these players set up their bases here in the early game, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you if this is your first video, as we see Loki pulling off the extractor trick. Anyway, if this is your first video of mine that you're watching, thank you first of all for giving me your time. I really appreciate it, and I sure hope that you enjoy this video and any others you might take the time to watch as well. And hopefully you might subscribe if you do enjoy these videos, which brings me to my next point. I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers, especially the ones who've been with me since the very beginning. I hope you guys have, noticed that I've grown as a caster. Hopefully I've gotten better as time went on, and hopefully I will continue to get better and these casts continue to entertain you guys, as hopefully they have been doing so. At any rate, I will be getting a new computer here soon, so I will hopefully, or rather, you guys will hopefully see a noticeable jump in the quality of the graphics here in these casts in the coming weeks, as we see a hatch first build coming out of Loki right now, and Huck will indeed see exactly what's going on, so he is actually going to be putting a forge up right here at his front ramp, so he is going to be responding to that natural expansion with a forge. Is he going to be doing some shenanigans with this probe, his hero probe inside the Zerg player's base? We will have to wait and see for that, as he actually canceled that gateway, so he is all sorts of committing to this early game forge first opening. He is going to be using this probe to do some straight up nonsense, putting up a pylon here around the mineral line of our Zerg player. Looks like Loki might not, quite realize what's going on. He might think that pylon's just there to be annoying, but spoiler alert, Huck has some thoughts of cannoning our Zerg player in the face, especially being able to neutralize this hatchery. And no, actually looks like Loki will be bringing down a full train of 8 drones, as Huck's second probe does arrive, puts up a couple of cannons. Great strategy right here, actually putting these back to back, not allowing them to be quite as surrounded as they otherwise might be. And mineral walking his probes as well, so Huck is doing all sorts of micro right now. He does have top 3 unit control. We'll see if that comes to fruition and allows him to get this cannon rush online, as he does have 2 pretty healthy cannons, able to get 2 full cancels off on those up there. Looks like he did get rid of the probes though, or rather Loki got rid of the probes. So Huck will be forced to cancel that cannon, and this one will probably be canceled as well, and indeed it is. So just that pylon is alive now, and now Huck will be expanding himself at his natural expansion. So he did delay some mining from those drones who were forced to be pulled off the line. So actually not a very bad opening right now. Huck is not in trouble at all, as you might see some lower level players be if their cannon rush, I suppose, fails this badly. Looks like Huck is now getting his gateway online. So he is going to be pretty decently off right here, considering how that cannon rush went for him, because he did force Loki to pull off almost all of his probes right there and dent his mining time pretty severely, and now his expansion will only be, right around half of a Nexus building time behind his opponents. At any rate, before that cannon rush nonsense from Huck happened, I was saying, oh yeah, thank you to my subscribers, and hopefully you'll notice a jump in the graphics quality, and I'm getting a new mic as well, so hopefully the sound will get better along with the video. And you know what? Hopefully everything just continues to get better, as I know, I acknowledge fully that I am not a perfect caster. Of course, I am continuing to learn and grow as time wears on and as I do this a little bit more. And if you guys have any suggestions or comments, please feel free to let me know, and I will do my best to incorporate those ideas into my future casts. Alright, anyway, let's get into this game in earnest, as Huck's Nexus is now warped in at his natural expansion, going to be moving down a couple of probes to take that over, and it looks like our Zerg player is continuing to macro like a boss. Loki taking his 3rd base right before the 6-minute mark, so he is continuing to stay 1 base ahead of his Protoss counterpart. Will Huck try to cannon this expansion as well? I would assume not, but hey, you never know with Huck. We might be seeing a mothership rush out of him with that failed cannon rush, but hey, who knows? Always love watching Huck because he is known for being unexpected or rather doing the unexpected and being unpredictable is what I meant to say there. And it looks like a queen down here for Loki, going to be getting some creep sumer spread out, possibly if he wants to get his creep nicely spread out between his bases. Anyways, his third hatchery is around halfway done. Huck has started warp gate technology right around the 630 mark, so just a little bit behind, due of course to that crazy opening that he went with. Getting 2 more gateways up inside his base right now. Looks like he might be getting a third as well with this probe. So a pretty delayed 4-gate, if that is indeed what he's going to do, a 4-gate off of 2 bases too. So, hey, who knows? He is going to be getting those 3 more gateways though, so he will shortly be on 4 functioning warp gates as soon as this warp gate technology gets researched. This hatchery up the 3rd base for our Zerg is getting pretty near completion. Looks like he finally gets a couple of Zerglings out to try to scout out this area. There is a cannon here, however, and of course the sentry at the top of the ramp will make sure that these Zerglings do not make it into the base, and they really have no chance of doing any significant scouting here at this point in the game. This 3rd hatchery is popped for Loki, so he will be getting that nice and populated here in the near future, I would assume, as there is another queen down here just getting some creep spread, possibly going to shamble on over to this hatchery and be that hatchery's main queen for injecting and that such nonsense. And Huck's 3 gateways are now going to be warping in, getting another pylon as well just to have vision of this area. Going to be catching this Overlord sneaking in there for some scouting as well, just a little bit before he would otherwise. Looks like we have lair tech going up for our Zerg player as well. That's a little over halfway done. Warp gate is about to finish for Huck right around the 820 mark in this game. So he will finally have access to warp gates as he's going to morph those. Getting 2 more gateways up right around his nexus as well. Actually, make that 3 more gateways. So he is going with the 7 gates opening with that forge as well. Of course, just a product of how he opened up this game at the beginning. Spore Crawler for our Zerg player, just, being careful and covering his bases in case he would need those in the future. He doesn't want to get blown up by Dark Templars or anything at this point in the game, but of course we know that Huck is pretty much committing himself to some gateway attack at this point, getting 7 gateways right now, all of them turning into warp gates. We might see some harassment or attacking right now. Looks like 2 pylons up here are ready to have units warped in by them. A couple of Zerglings do find that, of course. And here we go. There might be a pretty significant attack right now happening in the near future with Huck's units warping in and charging into the fray. This is just a conglomeration of Zealots and Sentries. No Stalkers yet, I do believe, as they are going straight into the front door of the natural expansion. There's quite a few Zerglings and also a pair of Queens here to defend the Zerg player's base. How much damage will Huck be able to do? Let's throw up that APM sap. Huck is right around 185. Wow, oh my goodness, Loki is at 285, almost at 300. Nice force fields going off there, preventing the back half of the Zerglings from being able to participate. But there are quite a few Zerglings and a few Roaches as well here. So Huck will be forced to back out for now, get another wave of units. This is what 7 warp gates will do for you, warping in a flood of Zealots. And now Huck does have the advantage. Going to be running in here. The Roaches and Queens trying to get away, but the Queens get trapped with force fields, and their days are going to be rapidly up here in the very near future. Those Queens dying in a splatter of blood. There is now just about a dozen or so Roaches, though, so our Zerg player still has some nice defense. Our Protoss player does get a wave of Stalkers to counter those Roaches, so now Huck is in business. Looks like 7 Stalkers with about 7 Zealots and about 7 Sentries. A very nice army here, going to be charging into our Zerg player's territory. These Roaches trying to find the right opportunity to strike. Drones being pulled off the line. Force fields going off just to try to help Huck's chances out here a little bit. Drones being trapped behind force fields, not allowed to participate in this battle. And here we go. Will Huck be able to finish his Zerg opponent off here? He has forced quite a little bit of economic downtime, but only his Stalkers are now alive as those Sentries and Zealots were taken out by those Roaches. Another wave of Zealots do warp in to try to absorb the damage, but it looks like Huck is forced to, back up just a little bit right now. Going to be moving backwards, trying to muster up his forces, make a stand, and then push into his opponent's base again. Or he might just be pulling out at this point, realizing it is a lost cause. Has he had knowledge of this 3rd base? I do not believe so. But these Stalkers, if they just go over here, they might find it. But no, they don't do it. As now there are Zerglings just chasing down these Stalkers. And these Stalkers are in some serious trouble, as Zerglings are just nipping at their heels. And the Zealots trying to arrive and help out their Stalker friends, but just a little bit too late. And half of the Stalkers have been taken out. Though they do make a stand, and this Stalker might survive. Nope, that Stalker does die. There are Roaches swinging around the back door as well, and now these forces for Huck are cut off. and being pincered by Zerg forces, and they might be in some serious trouble as Loki does have access to Burrow, so his roaches are basically invulnerable as long as he has the APM, and as we've seen, he definitely has the APM to do pretty much anything he wants. Almost 300 actions per minute. That's 5 per second, so he can pretty much burrow roaches over and over again. HuK is forced to retreat back into his base and try to muster out for here in the future, but unfortunately he has committed quite a bit to that attack right there with 7 warp gates, and now he's going to have to transition out of there, find some way to get to a late game build right now. He is stuck on just gateway units with no upgrade, so he really has some scrambling to do as his Zerg opponent does have the upgrade advantage, or will in the near future. And the Protoss player just now starting weapons level 1, also getting some immortals to counter those roaches. So we'll see if HuK is able to make this work here. He is very, very good, so he might just be able to. If anyone can pull this off in his Protoss player situation, I would say it is probably HuK. As one roach, got a little overzealous and was taken out. There are so many roaches here. A full tab of right around 24 roaches there. This is an overlord sitting over there. Looks like these Protoss units, mostly zealous right now, going to be escorting this probe down here. Unfortunately, there is a Zergling burrowed that will not allow the Nexus to be warped in. HuK is sitting way up there in the minerals. He's going to have to be warping in an additional wave of warp gate units just to make use of his macro. As the Observer arrives, but not in time. The roaches actually making the Zealots move away. Here come the Protoss units, though, trying to get rid of this pesky Zergling, as it was the one thing preventing him from getting that expansion. But it might just have been a blessing and a curse, because expansion, if it were put up, might have been in some significant trouble from those roaches from our Zerg player. So who knows? Of course, hindsight is 20/20. He does now have the Nexus coming online now. He has been one base behind for quite a while now. Looks like a 15 Harvester advantage for our Zerg player. And Overseer being sacked just to get some full scouting information. Sees that nothing besides warp gates is really going on inside HuK's main base. As anyway, 15 Harvester advantage translating to right around a 500 middle advantage. Also a few hundred gas as well. So HuK has some serious work to do right now, trying to play this game perfectly and get out of the hole he kind of dug for himself, not doing enough damage to his Zerg opponent to try to justify that early game behavior. He is 5,000 resources lost. Of course, it does count the photon cannons he canceled at the beginning as resources lost. So who knows? He might be not that far behind, but that's just what that tab says there. And here we go. The Protoss player is going to have to do some defending right now, as Loki expanding behind this push as well, just with a tab and a half of roaches, along with some Zerglings down here nipping at these gateways. That one gateway does get canceled, and here come the Stalkers. Of course, Stalkers not the best against Zerglings, but there are enough there to repel those Zerglings. As Roaches still sitting at the front door of our Protoss player. He has a lot of stuff to worry about, does LiquidHuK right now. Roaches at his front door, Zerglings nipping at the door to his third base, actually morphing into Banelings now, so just Loki doing everything right, it seems, this game. Defending well and attacking on multiple fronts very well. This Observer does see the Roaches, however, so HuK will have some idea of what's heading his way. Unfortunately, he does not have verification of these Banelings down here. There is 24 plus, it looks like one more, so 25 Banelings just chilling right near the front door to his third base. He does have a Twilight Council up here. That's Twilight Council's days might be numbered if it gets attacked by some Baneling bust action. He does have about a dozen or so Stalkers with 2 sentries. Probe's now transferring down here with the majority of his army. So this might be the last stand for the Protoss player. If he doesn't defend this well, he will be in some serious trouble, as now he has left his natural expansion relatively unguarded, and here come the Roaches and the Lings going to be flying in here as Bane rain inside these Overlords. This might be some serious disaster happening for HuK. His Immortal is being targeted and will fall down. One of his Immortals, rather. Here come the Baneling Overlords. Are they going to be dropped all over the Protoss army? And they are going to be dropped all over that section of the Protoss army. So Banelings having their way with these Protoss units. These Stalkers trapped in a corner. Banelings not the most effective against Stalkers, but hey, they are still going to be doing some pretty nice damage, as there are still a few Banelings alive in there. And the Roaches this whole time have been just melting away at this Nexus, which is going to fall. So HuK is in the unenviable position of having a lot of blue dots inside his red player base. Zealots being warped in will rapidly be taken care of by this overwhelming force of Roaches. However, he does have quite a few Stalkers and Immortals, and a few Immortals rather, still alive here. Unfortunately, it just will not be enough, as his opponent is going to be 4th base online, and his natural expansion just got completely neutralized. So HuK does GG out of this game. Very well played by NosLoki, taking a game off of the mighty Huckster. So well played by him. I hope you guys enjoyed this game, and I will see you guys next time.